Welcome to the course on Dynamics of Machinery, Unit number 5, Measurement and Control of Vibrations. So in the last presentations, we have discussed about the vibrations in instruments, accelerometers, impact hammers and vibration shakers. And also we discussed the vibration analyzer. So now in this presentation, we are going to concentrate on vibration based condition monitoring and analysis of the vibration spectrum. So first we will see what is meant by the condition monitoring. So simply this condition monitoring word itself indicates that monitoring the condition of the machine. Okay, so you have to check the condition of the machine, how the machine is at present. So we are going to monitor the condition of the machine. Okay, and for that we are using different techniques. So these condition monitoring techniques include the oral inspection, visual inspection, operational variables, means inspection of the operational variables, or measurement of the temperature, or measurement of the wear debris, or the measurement of vibration. So there are so many methods which are used in the industries for knowing the condition of the machine, and whatever is suitable for a particular machine, so according to that they are using the kind of systems, because every time it is not possible to have the vibration measuring instrument available in all the industries, so they are going for the whatever the simplest method they found, accordingly they are using it. Okay, so let us talk about the oral and visual method of inspection to know the condition of the machine. So it needs a skilled technician who will listen and see the vibration produced by the machine, and accordingly it will be in a position to tell us that what is the problem with the machine. So definitely a skilled person can identify the changes in the noise of the particular machine or the changes in the vibrations of the machine by just touching the machine. Okay, now there are some operational variable are being measured or monitored. So this will be giving us the performance is being monitored with respect to the intended duty. So whatever is the expected parameters are there, if those parameters are available, then you can say that it is working properly within the range. And if there is any deviation, okay, from the available or acceptable limit, then we can get an idea that there is certain malfunction, and because of which that operational variables are crossing their limits or moving out of their range. Okay, similarly the temperature monitoring will be giving an idea about the rapid increase in the temperature, okay, is an indication of the malfunction. So definitely for a system we generally expect that the temperature should be constant, because when the machines are running for long period of time, so whatever the temperature is there, means which you generally observe, so it should be constant. And if you observe that it is being increasing, okay, so it means it is an indication that there is some problem is being occurring, because generally temperature will increase in the machine component because of the friction. So definitely there must be certain component somewhere that is getting loosened, or it is unbalanced, or maybe some misalignment is there, because of which the friction increased, and definitely that friction will cause the wear and tear of the component after some time, and it is going to cause the failure of the machine. So we have to see that the temperature should be maintained constant, and if it is increasing, it is an indication of the malfunction of the system. Even in case of electric motors, if there is a continuous rise in the temperature of the motor, it means there is some problem and we have to take care of it. Similarly, another method is wear debris. So we are going to check out the quantity of wear particles in the lubricating oil. Okay, so wear debris found in lubricating oils can be used to assess the extent of damage by observing the concentration, size, shape and color of the particles. So every machinery is having its gearbox, and it is having lubricating oil into it. So if there is some problem, so definitely that get affected, or that effect of the problem can be observed by observing the quality of the oil in the gearbox, or wherever you are having the lubricating oil in the machine between the two different components. So there, if you found out that there is a collection of the wear debris, and if what is the size of that, or what is the concentration of it, what is the shape of those components or that particles of wear, and the color of the particles will be indicating you that a particular problem is there with the machine, and we accordingly have to stop the machine and do the conditioning of it. So after this, now we are going to concentrate on the vibration monitoring techniques, because for our subject it is dynamics of machinery and we are generally talking about the vibrations in the machines. So basically the methods which are followed for machine vibration monitoring are time domain techniques, frequency domain techniques, and Q frequency domain techniques. So this Q frequency domain technique is also called as Cepstrum technique. Okay. So in case of time domain, now you are going to observe the waveform. So waveform analysis is there, orbit, shaft orbit analysis is there, and statistical analysis is there in case of time domain. While in frequency domain, you are going to observe the frequency spectrum. Okay, and in the Q frequency domain, there will be a Q frequency spectrum, or it is called as actually spectrum, Cepstrum, CEPSTRM, Cepstrum. Okay, so that is will be observed. Now we will just discuss in detail about the machine condition monitoring technique. So by vibration, so here you will see that the basics of vibrations we already studied. So vibration is a to and fro periodic motion. It may be a linear or it may be angular about the mean position. So simply you can see one mass is specified here, and it is having the motion up and down. Okay, linear motion, and this displacement of this mass will be varying with respect to a sine curve. So accordingly we can write this as by using a simple harmonic motion. We can write the equation of simple harmonic motion, and in that we have the displacement x is equal to a sine omega t, where a is the maximum amplitude of this particular displacement and sine omega t is nothing but the frequency with which it is going to vary. So omega is nothing but the frequency, and it is a vibration, so it is a motion. Okay, so vibration is expressed in three different quantities: displacement, velocity, and acceleration, because this mass is having a velocity also with which it is going to move continuously, and at the same time when there is a change in velocity, so there is also acceleration. So accordingly, if I differentiate this displacement, so I will get omega into a cos of omega t as a velocity, and again if I differentiate this, so I will be getting minus omega square into a sine of omega t as an acceleration. So this can be represented here, that suppose if you consider a shaft and it is having a heavy spot on over this, so you can show that the time waveform of vibration will be observed like this. So this is the maximum amplitude of the vibration, and it is having certain time period in which it is going to complete one cycle. So if a particular shaft is rotating with a 3600 rpm, so it means it is having 3600 cycles per minute. So one revolution means nothing but one cycle. Okay, and if I divide it by 60, okay, or if I say that 60 hertz is there, so 60 hertz means nothing but again 60 cycles per second. Okay, so cycles per second is nothing but hertz, and one order, so this word is used for 1 times the turning speed. So 1 times the turning speed means 1 order. Suppose if it is rotating with 3600 rpm, okay, so this is the turning speed, so it is 1 time of this means nothing but the 1 order. Suppose if it is 7 means double of this, suppose. Okay, so if the speed is 7200, so that speed will be a second order, like that. Okay, so in case of time waveform, the important is nothing but the amplitude of it and the time period. Okay, so amplitude is nothing but the magnitude of vibration signal. So generally we are expressing the magnitude of vibration signal in terms of amplitude. So unit of that amplitude may be micron, maybe mm per second, or maybe in terms of g, that is gravitational acceleration, or meter per second square. So as you are defining this displacement, velocity and acceleration, these three different terms of vibration measurement, so accordingly these are the 3 units of it. And now whatever the time it is taking, actually the inverse of the time is nothing but the frequency. So this frequency, what it indicates, so how many times an oscillation is occurring for a given time period, that you will come to know by knowing the frequency. So it will be nothing but telling us about the cycles per second. So in a given time, how many cycles will be completed of that vibration. Okay, or also it is expressed as hertz, or it can be written as a CPM, cycles per minute, or nothing but revolutions per minute. Okay, now we will just see the frequency once again. So it is the rate of mechanical oscillation in a period of time, that is frequency. Or frequency can be expressed in the one of the following units. So RPM, revolutions per minute, or cycles per minute, or cycles per second, or hertz. So 1 cycle per second, okay, if you have to convert into RPM, so simply you have to multiply this hertz into 60, you will get the revolutions per minute. Okay, so it means if it is 60 rpm, suppose any shaft is rotating with the 60 rpm, and if I to get it in terms of revolutions per second, so I will definitely divide it by 60, so it becomes 1 revolution per second. That means nothing but hertz, because revolutions per second is nothing but the cycles per second. So 1 revolution is 1 cycle, so this way you will get this 1 hertz. Now we'll just talk about what is the physical significance of these different terms which we are talking about. We are talking about the amplitude, we talk about the frequency. Okay, so what is the physical significance of this? So by knowing frequency, what you will come to know? Suppose you calculated, or if you have taken the make the measurement of the particular machine, and that measurement will be indicating you different frequencies. So what you will know, you will come to know that what is vibrating. That means you will know the source of vibration, because every component available on the machine will be having their different frequencies. Okay, like suppose in a particular class there are suppose around 60 students present over there, but whenever a teacher is taking attendance of them, so every student is saying yes sir, but the sound of that particular student will be identified by the teacher, because the sound frequency of every person is different. Even we can easily identify the voice of our family members. Okay, why? Because everybody is having different frequency, and therefore we will come to know that what is the source of vibration from the machine. Also machines components are also having different frequencies. So if you know the frequency of vibration, that means you will come to know that from where that particular vibrations are coming, which particular component is vibrating with that particular frequency. And significance of amplitude is that you will come to know how much it is vibrating. Suppose you identified one of the component, that which component is vibrating, so how much it is vibrating, that you will come to know by knowing the amplitude of it. It means you will come to know about the size or the severity of the problem. And by knowing the phase angle, what you will come to know, so you will come to know how it is vibrating. It means you will come to know the cause of vibration. So what is the cause of vibration because of which the phase angle is like that, so that way you will come to know. So these are the three important parameters and their physical significance. Now we are talking about amplitude in detail. So amplitude is an indicator of severity of the vibration. Okay, and amplitude can be expressed as one of the following engineering units. So first is the displacement. We already discussed this, that the displacement is used for the measurement of vibration. So it is nothing but a distance a structure moves or vibrates from its reference or the rest position. Generally the unit is in microns. Then the velocity, so it is the rate of change of displacement, and it is the measure of speed at which the mass is vibrating during its oscillation. Okay, and its unit is mm per second. And the third is the acceleration. So it is the rate of change of velocity. The greater the rate of change of velocity, the greater the forces on those machines, and its unit is meter per second square. Okay, now we'll just take one simple example, that suppose there is a one cantilever beam and it is vibrating like this. So we can measure the vibration amplitude over here. Okay, at the end, so definitely here you will get a more amplitude. As you go on towards the end point of or the fixed point of it, so your vibration amplitude will go on decreasing, so here you will get less amplitude, and here again you will get lesser than that amplitude. So amplitude goes on decreasing towards the fixed point. So if you see the time waveform of this end point, A point, so you will get it like this. Okay, if you take the time waveform of this, you will get it like this, and the third will be like this. In all these things you will find out that if you see the peak point of it here, and the downfall of it, and again the next peak of it, so what is common in this, that the time period, it means it is vibrating with the same frequency while amplitude is different. Okay, And we know that the velocity is the most accurate measure of vibration because it is not frequency related. It means it's suppose 0.5 mm per second at 1000 rpm is same as 0.5 mm per second at 10,000 rpm. Well, if we talk about the other parameters like displacement and acceleration, so they will not be same. If the velocity changes, that particular parameters will change, or if your speed changes, it will be changing, which will not happen in case of velocity, and therefore this is the most commonly preferred measurement parameter of the vibration. Now let us talk about the some more significance of the different parameters like displacement, velocity, and acceleration. So what is the significance of this? So significance of displacement measurement is that it is actually a stress indicator. It means how much stress will be induced in a particular component at a particular point, that you will come to know by knowing this displacement measurement. And velocity is a fatigue indicator. So definitely fatigue loading, how much it will be acting over a particular component, that you will come to know by knowing the velocity measurement. And by knowing acceleration measurement, you will come to know about the force. So acceleration is a force indicator. So more is the acceleration, so more will be the force acting on that particular machine, and definitely it should be in a position to carry that heavy force. Okay. So here we will see that a graph is showing where and when we are going to use the displacement, velocity, and acceleration, that is specified here. So on this axis there is a sensitivity, on this axis there is a frequency. So you will find out that for the velocity, if you see this curve, so you will be observing this horizontal line, a flat curve is there. So it is for low speed to a very high speed, it is not going to affect. So its sensitivity is same. While acceleration is very less sensitive at low speed and it is very highly sensitive at high speed. It means that if you are using a high speed application, so for high speed application it is better to make the measurement of the acceleration, and if you are using a very low speed measurement, so in that case here you will find out that a displacement is more sensitive for low speeds. So if you go on increasing the speed, so it is sensitivity goes on decreasing, so the displacement measurement will not be preferred for high speed, so this is being avoided. So this will be preferred. So for displacement measurement will be preferred for low speeds, acceleration measurement will be preferred for high speeds, but if you are measuring velocity, it can be used for any speeds from low to high speed. Okay, so with this we will just stop here. So remaining part of this we will see in the next class. So thank you very much.